So first of all, I wanted to thank you all for joining us during what is a difficult situation. Well, we hope to keep this informal chat to a half hour, although if we roll on a little bit longer and you guys would like to stay with us, particularly for the questions and answers section, feel free to stay on. We will be doing questions throughout the process, so if you guys want to ask any questions in the Q&A panel, we'll be answering them live, and I'll also be able to put a few questions to John and Carl, who will be presenting at the end of today's webinar. As per usual, all webinars are recorded and sent to everyone who registered, so we'll be sure to send this to you guys afterwards, and feel free to share it with colleagues or anyone who you think might find this helpful. So just like to introduce a couple of the team we have with here today. So we have Carl Veillette, who's our co-founder and VP of product, and we've got John Barkwell, who heads up our US sales team. And I just wanted to run a couple quick polls on you guys just to see sort of who we have on the call today. So first question is, how many of you are currently working remotely? Second one is what your sort of coordination tech stack is currently looking like. So you guys can select all that apply to you guys right now. And three, what's your profession? Let you guys roll through that. And we'll just give it a few minutes as well as people are still joining the webinar. There we go. Just give it another few more minutes. Looks like a lot of you are currently working remotely. So for 88%, a lot of Navisworks and Revit users tied at 61% each, 40% BIM 360. Architects, contractors, consultants are all neck and neck. We've got a few owners on the line, a few engineers as well. All right, guys, I'm just going to end the polling there and share the results with you guys so you can see. So not a whopping 93% of you are currently working remotely. 69% are using Revit, 66% Navisworks, 38% are BIM 360 users, 41% currently BIM Track users. A lot of AutoCAD users on the line as well at 38%, and we've got a few Tekla Structures users at 7%. And professions, we seem to be pretty evenly matched. 21% architects and contractors. We've got 17% consultants, engineers, and the rest. Perfect. So without further ado, I will let Carl and John take it away.
All right. Well, thanks, Alexi. So today we're going to go over introductions for John and myself. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about changes in the work environment. Then we're going to dig into some technical demonstration and how BIM Track can be used in this difficult time. Question and answer sessions and a little summary at the end. So without any wait, so myself, I'm Carl Veillette, co-founder, VP of product at BIM Track, and in charge of customer success and the support team, as well as the software engineering department. So everything related to product roadmap and product development is under my responsibility. So we've got John. John, want to say hello?
Hey, good morning, afternoon, everyone. John Barkwell here. I'm Director of our Business Development for the U.S. So I manage our U.S. team, sales and operations, coming to you from Southern California. I've been with BIM Track for a few years now, and yeah, super excited to talk to you about some things that we have for the topics here around remote coordination.
Great. Well, so as we said, this webinar is intended to talk about challenges that we are facing with a situation with construction projects right now impacted by the coronavirus. So we're obviously committed to supporting you during these difficult times, and our entire team is working remotely from home now. So we've developed a couple of different tricks, that to help you work remotely. So we'd like to share some of those with you today. We've also been talking with our customers, and they've had great success working with our platform for remote coordination. So obviously our customer success team and support are available remotely to help you with your projects if you're a current BIM Track customers, as we've seen in the survey at the beginning.
Yeah,
John. Yeah.
I'll add as you kind of build the slide there one at a time. It's definitely changes in the work environment. Not only for us, but we realize with our customers that are using BIM Track. Working from the kitchen table and trying to juggle the work-life balance with kids in the background and that are home from school. It's very difficult to really kind of manage that workflow. So we're having those conversations with our customers and it's really brought some ideas to us, and the reason why we wanted to have this webinar was just to kind of share some best practices on what we're hearing from the industry and your colleagues out there. So we'll go through a couple of things that have kind of come up as we kind of build the slide here. So Carl, you want to go through these one at a time and we can kind of chat about these?
Sounds good. All right, so obviously everyone's now working remotely with no face-to-face meetings. As we know, we used to bump into each other in the corridor at the office and exchange some information about the project deadlines or some issues that are raised by the team. So obviously it's not available anymore as an opportunity for informal discussions. So that might obviously impact coordination of the projects.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're not, like Carl says, you're not at the water cooler having chats about your projects, and it's definitely a change, but it's pretty interesting to see how people are leveraging technology, right, to like what we're doing today with this webinar. We've done it as well. We have a virtual Friday happy hour, right, Carl, to often. That because I work remote myself, so I'm not back at headquarters and able to chat with people, but just the way that you can kind of create rapport using technology is very interesting.
So obviously the challenge with communication and collaboration quality, I mean, when you were in the office, you probably had a set of drawings next to you or some pictures on the wall. So obviously those visual supports are not available anymore. So when you're having discussions with someone, it's not necessarily supported by visuals. So that's another thing that's going to be missing from your remote work situation at the moment. So we think this is something also we can help improve with the support from the models and the viewer side of things.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of kind of collaborating in that conference environment, marking up plans and sheets, the way, and we just unfortunately don't have that opportunity now. So, right, so again, back to technology, how can we leverage that? And so Carl's got some really good ideas and suggestions on using the BIM Track drawing and model viewer for remote teams to be able to collaborate, track markups and changes, and assign those to the appropriate colleague or consultant for resolution of that.
Visibility in general, so knowing the status of issues. It's easy, you turn around and you ask someone, is this issue still pending? Have we found a solution for that? Having an overview of who's working on what and what's the current overview or coordination held on the project is not an easy task. Working remotely with everyone in their kitchen, right, or in their basement for some of you. So it's also a challenge that we've heard a lot. Like how do we keep track on the coordination schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo that. I mean, that's I talking with our customers every day. I mean, that's a big one is not having that that visibility, and we talk a lot about that at BIM Track, being able to know ball and cord, if you will, knowing what people are working on, and yeah, we've got some good examples to kind of show you around the reports and metrics, key area within BIM Track to be able to really track and know what your team is working on. It's tough to really have that level of visibility in a project, and more importantly, the accountability of when it needs to be done. So it's clearly kind of communicated what the expectation is on the status of those issues that the team should be resolving.
working hours disrupted by remote work environment. So obviously, when everybody's working 8 to 5, it's easy to plan for a meeting. Now that everybody's trying to adapt with their family, with their dogs around, or everybody's schedule basically. It's really hard to find matching schedule for meetings. So I've seen meetings happening at 8 p.m. So everybody's trying to accommodate for sure, but it doesn't mean that no work can be done in between. But I think you need to have the right tools for that coordination to happen in between the meetings and make some progress. So this is another area that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, the reality of it is that balance of kind of working from the home environment can be difficult with kids climbing on your back, between meetings, or as I speak right now, my lab underneath my desk snoring like a drunk sailor. It's definitely interesting.
Sean, that was my kids climbing on my back the other day. Come on.
So one other topic is design progress visibility. So obviously, we've been sending official drawings to each other, but how can we talk around the latest version of the drawing? Usually, as I said, those that pile of plans and drawings are sitting on your desk, and it can be easy accessed by your colleagues around. I come by your desk. Hey, what's the latest version of the design? What does it look like? You can talk around it. Now it's kind of a little bit more complicated to get updates for non-official documents. So this is also something that we're going to touch as well with the automation for publishing and sharing documents in BIM Track.
Yeah, that's a good one. We've got a really good example of that enhanced workflow.
Great. All right, so let's dig in the solution itself here. So we're going to explore a couple of workflows. I'm going to show you some tips with BIM Track features that you may or may not know. If you're a BIM Track customer, this is probably going to be a reminder of existing features. But for the newcomers here, we're going to look and I'm going to give you a glimpse of what BIM Track is all about. So just going to open Revit here, since it's one of the software that showed up in the survey at the beginning. So first of all, as you can see, I'm in the Revit environment here. I've got a series of colorful issue cards displayed here. So this is BIM Track inside Revit. So BIM Track is, for those of you who don't know BIM Track, a bolt-on solution, an extension, an add-in basically for existing CAD and BIM platform. So I've seen a couple of AutoCAD users in the survey as well. This is also available within the environment like that. So first thing you can do is obviously, imagine your team is working remotely. You've got like 15 people working at their home right now, and they are working modeling in Revit, for example. And some of them have question issues. Usually those are taken as screenshots, sent in emails. But with BIM Track, what you can actually do is very quickly zoom on an issue, for example, and then raise it directly within the Revit platform. So no need to copy paste and paint on the side, doing some markup. This is all available within the CAD and BIM platforms. So for example, let's say I have a question, technical question, I need to send it to a senior designer, for example, or a project manager, and say door size. And I'm going to assign that to, let's say, the architect. In this case, the architect would be SCA. And then I'm going to set, for example, a series of attributes here to help sort the issues in reports and detail metrics. And I'm going to be able to publish or annotate that image like that. And automatically those people get notified by email. So it's a really good way to talk, platform to platform, or between different stakeholders at the same on the same projects. if they use different models, you're always going to be able to quickly locate the issue location just in a single click. So you can say, oh, I've received a question from one of the team members, and you can easily click on viewing model like that, and it will bring you to the issue location in a single click, just like that. So there you go. So now I can see that this is what the issue looked like. And then you can jump between the different issues like that very quickly, without the need to search through thousands or sometimes hundreds of views in your project tree. So at any point in time, you can start chatting around issues. So again, everybody's working remotely. So chat, platforms like Microsoft Teams or Slack or whatever platform you're using. It's usually a project kind of centric communication system. So you gotta have like a lot of discussions mixed together. So with BIM Track, it's a little bit more powerful because you can actually have a news feed per issue. So it's really easy to narrow down the latest information shared on the issue itself. So you can actually go there and say, I have fixed this issue, and post that. And obviously you could have many stakeholders right now working on the same issue in their own models and chat around the same issue itself, like that, and post updates, comments, questions, answer each other's. And all of that is actually tracked in a web platform where people can engage in the coordination around the issues.
I think, Carl, I mean, the key thing that I've seen is that, replacing that email and screenshots with such kind of one-to-one and very siloed communication. What we're seeing here is BIM Track is a global cloud-based platform. All that communication is visible across, the entire team, right? So you can see who said what, when, and where around that communication, from one person from Revit to Revit or Revit to AutoCAD. It's replacing that siloed workflow and kind of pushing it into a global collaboration. And obviously, with everybody kind of working remote, there's a lot of advantages to be able to see the communication at any point in time and date stamped, what the team has been discussing.
That's it. Just to jump in there, John, I think for internal use, if you guys are sharing screenshots in emails, in chat, marked up like crazy, that could be a BIM Track issue. And I think that's the way to think of it. All of a sudden you have traceability and you can take it back into the model. And we'll get to it at the end, but we actually have a free version of BIM Track where the first 50 issues are free. And it might be that for internal coordination purposes, that's enough to get you guys going.
Yeah. So obviously all those information, as I said, are available in a web platform. So if I open the project here, again, there's no installation required for that since it's always web-based. So you can very quickly, without the need to know how to navigate in 3D, go in there and I can see the issue that I just raised at our size here. And as a project manager, you can, as I said, answer the question raised by your team. You can go in there and say, this should be 4x8, for example, and then post that. And then all those comments become available for the guys working in the BIM software. So if I edit that here, I'm going to see that this comment is now synced live in the issue. So it's, again, really easy to have like a unified communication feed around the issues, no matter your skills, if you're used to working 3D or not. Obviously, we talk about the challenge of staying on top of the coordination game and making sure that coordination health is going well in the project. So one of the things I'd like to point out is the metric section here. So John talked about the ball in court kind of things. So what we're trying to do here is remove roadblocks. So if someone has like many issues assigned to them and still open, you want to, as a project manager, act quickly on that and make sure that those issues get resolved and answered. So I can easily see, for example, here that Eric has 76 issues assigned to him. So I can see in those issues, I can then drill down and then see, for example, by status, and I can see that there is like 74 closed, 1 in progress, and 1 open. So I think Eric is, doing well with the coordination of the project. So you can basically explore like that. So I've got issues assigned to myself, for example, here I can see that, we've got like 8 open, and I would like to see the priorities of those 8 issues, and I can see some of those are critical. So what I can do is go in there and then click on the issues link here, and that's going to show me those 3 critical issues that we were looking at in the metrics. So really easy to pinpoint.
Eric's doing a great job there, Carl. You're going to have to catch up.
Yeah, right. I'm busy running webinars at the moment, so. For example, you can also see the number of open and closed issues. So as I said, everybody's working remotely. It's really hard to see where everyone is at in terms of coordination. So that's going to help you give insights to the project manager and make them act quickly if things are going off schedule. We talk about coordination meetings. One of the things that we use to provide is a good reporting tool, so you can print issues and use that as a document to support discussions during coordination meetings. Obviously, printing might not be an option if you don't have a printer at home, or you might not want to use all your color, in the printer. So. One of the things that people are trying to do is be more, around electronic documents. So in this case, what you can do, you can actually schedule coordination reports to be sent automatically to you by email. So that's a good, feature that can be used. So for example, you can say every Friday at 1 p.m., I want to send the issues assigned to the architect that are still kind of pending. So this way, you're not walking in the office and distributing, paper reports to the different stakeholders, or you don't have to print physical copies of it. So that's another good way of, managing the coordination remotely, is setting those reoccurring, for example, reports to be sent. So that's a great feature that you can actually configure in there to display all sorts of combinations. For example, as I said, open could be, for example, for a specific discipline itself, mechanical, structure, architecture, whoever is working on coordination at the moment. But lastly, as I said, the ability to print large construction drawings format is probably not an option right now. So one thing you can do is really go in the BIM Track viewer here and upload those sheets. Those sheets are automatically scaled 1-to-1, so you can actually mark up, take measurement on it. And those can be scheduled to be published automatically. So for example, you can say every midnight, all your team is scheduling an upload of those documents in the viewer. So this way, when you walk in the office in the morning, you can actually open BIM Track and you've got all your up-to-date documents. As I said, it doesn't have to be official documents. BIM Track is mostly used for ongoing coordination, evolving documents. So it's really a tool that can be used for your internal team to basically see progress as things are being done by the team, and be able to comment, mark up, raise issues, raise questions around those. So very quickly you can open that mezzanine drawing here. So we support both 2D and 3D type of documents. So we've got the viewer for both. And then you can actually go under the issues tab here and you can access existing issues, or you can also, for example, raise new ones. So for example, I can zoom in here and let's suppose there's something wrong with the stairs opening here. I can click on localize and click on the definition of the issue. And then I can mark up the opening, verify stairs opening. And then I can add some comments there and then save that. Obviously, everything you create, every issue you raise in the viewer is accessible in the other environment. So for example, technician or the BIM modeler or whatever you call them, they are able to access those issues directly in the model just by hitting the view and model feature here. It will prepare the view and display the issue. So I can see that this is what I raised on the 2D document, and this is what they see here in 3D. So you can see the stairs right there. So it's really easy. It's really easy to navigate across 2D and 3D documents. So for those of you who are not familiar with 3D navigation or commenting in 3D, it doesn't matter. We do a smart conversion between both. So you can still do the 2D markup workflows that you used to do in PDF annotation softwares.
So I think that's super powerful. Everybody's tracking there. I mean, think about your project managers who actually don't even have Revit, let's say, on their desktop. They're on a web browser at a home computer, being able to view those drawings in 2D and communicating back to their design team members that are actually in 3D and Revit. I mean, that's a super powerful way to be able to engage everybody across the team.
Yep. And so that's the basic of the the viewer. Obviously, we've got support for 3D models. So if you are able to navigate in 3D and you've got experience with that, you can always jump to the hybrid view, we call it. So this is hybrid modeling, so 2D and 3D, where you can deactivate the 2D and then work solely in 3D. So you can actually start commenting the model and raising issues with the issue feature here. Again, same process, localize issue, click on that here and say connection to be revised. And again, add some markups in there. And then jump to Navisworks. And you can easily, for example, here, I'm just going to hide a couple of models here to show you. And refresh the issue list. You're going to see a pinpoint displayed in this area where I raised the issue. And then I can easily click on view and model here. Shows me the issue location, connection needs to be revised. So again, cross-platform communication channel, everybody's connected together, working at the same issues, ability to comment from different software according to different skill set as well. So if you're working on 2D documents in the web, those working in 3D would be able to retrieve that as well. So going back to the presentation here. All right.
Sorry, Carl, I'm just going to jump in. Oh yeah, questions and answers are already there. You guys are suspiciously quiet on the Q&A section. I don't know if we're hitting Europe too late or whatnot, but I'll put one to you guys that I know is always one of our first questions that comes in, which is if people are using BIM 360 for their model management, how does BIM Track work with that?
So they really work well hand in hand with each other. I mean, BIM 360 is used by a lot of our customers, and usually the workflow that is being implemented on their project is really simple. So BIM 360 would be used for live model sharing. So for those guys working in Revit, they can work on the same version of the model with the work sharing features in there. And it can be used as a document sharing platform as well. And BIM Track is mostly used in this context for communication management, the issue tracking aspect, and issue management itself. So obviously, all those features you've seen, the connectivity with the add-ons and different pieces of software. We've got 12 plus integration at the moment. So this is something that we offer in this tech stack kind of approach where we do the management of communications, and BIM 360 is there for model management.
Thanks, Carl. I don't see any other questions coming in at this moment in time, but if there's any that come in sort of in the next few minutes, I'll put them to you guys at the very end after we kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, I think one kind of related to what Carl was talking about, we often kind of assume it just to make sure it's clear to everybody, is that BIM Track does not require you to upload your authoring models. Everybody maintains the ownership of their model, from the architect to the structural engineer, mechanical engineer, and so on. What Carl was kind of showing was the publishing of the read-only version of those models via the industry foundation class, so that IFC file format. So it's that read-only version to basically, as Carl mentioned, uploading at midnight every night to share the design intent or progress at key milestones of how the project is progressing. In the drawing format, the AutoCAD or Revit sheets uploaded as PDFs to be able to view. So again, read-only file format. So you're not going to edit walls, doors, and windows in BIM Track. You're doing that in your author environment, but you're sharing kind of those the design intent or the progress of the models and drawings with the team for collaboration.
I think we had another question related to the ability to upload models and drawings here. So someone's asking if the models and drawings needs to be uploaded for the issue tracking to work. So that, and the answer to that is no. So BIM Track is actually working, without the need to upload the drawings of models. So for example, if you're using the add-ons and the BIM software, it's easy to just raise issues and communicate that with others. So it's very lightweight. It doesn't require model exchanges. So if you wish to just replace your coordination by email kind of workflow, it's a really quick platform to deploy across the team and across the board. It's kind of easy to understand. So it's not rocket science. But it's a very powerful tool to have in your tech stack.
And then licensing is often a question that comes up is, how is BIM Track used? So for those of you that aren't currently using BIM Track, I'll just kind of mention it's a user-based license. So you basically, as a BIM Track hub owner, you purchase the licenses that you need for your team, internal team, and certainly any consultants that you work with. So kind of keep that in mind. You delegate those licenses with the appropriate user settings and visibility and confidentiality of everybody across the team. And happy to talk more for those that have questions and kind of one-on-one.
Great, so let's wrap up. So a summary. So we talked about leveraging technology to enhance remote collaboration. There are various ways technology can help you work remotely, especially in a context of fast-paced project. It's important that you've got the right tools to help your team. Increase remote communication. So again, easy to use tools for communicating around the design documents.
Yeah, I think just on that, Carl, increased remote communication is, normally you communicate with a colleague across the cubicle or in the kitchen that you might see on day-to-day. So for teams that are working remote, what we encourage you is to increase the communication that you would normally have. Don't feel like you're kind of working in a silo, by yourself. So just using, tools like we're using today with Zoom or certainly with BIM Track to track that communication. Just do a little bit more communication just to kind of maintain that relationship with your colleagues.
And we talk about chatting with each other. Lots of questions and problems raised in chats. So obviously, this is an area where I think BIM Track can be helpful in tracking those requests and making sure that things get resolved. So setting deadlines, due dates for those issues, making them accountable, and setting milestones on your projects. So obviously to utilize the online drawing and model markups for tracking communication is going to be key to coordination, proper coordination on your projects. So feel free to try it out. Generate reports for visibility to mitigate the risk and delays. So obviously the automated features we've talked about, ability to distribute reports for pending issues automatically to get a reminder for the stakeholders working on the project. And obviously we're there to support, so our customer success team and support team are there to help you set up BIM Track, implement the solution, answer technical questions. So again, it's all included in your subscription, so feel free to use their help if you've got new members jumping on board during these times with the team working remotely growing fast. And obviously, we invite you to try the BIM Track free trial, free plan, basically. So this can be done very easily on our website. We've got this sign up feature available in the top right corner, and then you can fill this little form here, create password, and there you go, you're up and running with a freemium plan of BIM Track. Those are limited to 50 issues, but it's a good start if you're working on a small project or want to give it a try. There is no time limit for that, so you don't have to rush. So I invite you to go in there, sign up, create your account. Again, nothing. You don't have any anything tied with us. So in terms of subscription or anything, so
it's free unlimited trials. So I'll mention with full version software, just the only limitation is the active issues. So great way to kind of kick the tires and test it out. And let us know if there's any questions or help that you need during that trial period. For those of you that aren't customers yet, happy to talk to you further about that.
Yeah, and I'd also like to draw your guys' attention down at the bottom right there. There's that little smiley blue bubble. When we say get in touch with us, that is always the best way to do it. That's the chat button on our website, and we can redirect conversations to the appropriate people. That's where you're going to get the quickest response. So whether you're an existing client and you can't remember who your customer success representative is, or this is the first time you've seen BIM Track and you'd like to ask us a few more questions, really like to point you guys to that spot there. So unless you guys have anything to add, I think we'll wrap up the webinar there. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, today. Like I said, we'll be sending the recording to everyone who registered. So feel free to share that along to anyone you think might find it useful. And stay safe. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining, and be safe out there, and let us know if there's anything that we can do to support your projects. We're here to help.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good day.